Slack and he Major welcome you to the My Type of Hype podcast, where we celebrate hip-hop, not just the hype.
How y'all feel out there?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. Back like we never left. The My Type of Hype podcast is back for 2024. It feels like it's been a minute. It really feels like it's been a minute since the turn of the year and all that stuff, man. But hope everybody had a good festive season. I ain't gonna wish everyone a happy new year because we're way far into the month now. Time's gone now, but I just hope all is good. Hope everybody's healthy and safe. So yeah, welcome back to a whole new year, man. So this is our third iteration of this podcast, man. So thank you to everybody who's rocking with us. Thank you for getting us to 500 subscribers as well.
Yes.
For two London boys talking about hip hop on a space that's populated by millions and millions and millions of content creators. That's big, man. So just thank you to everybody who's subscribed and all of that kind of stuff. Much respect, much love.
Yeah, man.
So over to my co-host, man. What's going on, bro?
Yes, man. We're here. My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip hop and not just the hype. The first one for 2024, man. Like Slack said, hope you all had great Christmas and New Year and all that good stuff. But here we are back, business as usual, man. So we're moving on. Yes, man. We're here. Slack, you good?
Man, I had an amazing festive season. Great start to the new year. So yeah, man, ready to go, man. Ready to get going again.
Nice one. Give me 1 second. Oh, sorry, my kids left Mr. Bean on play. We turn that down. We're talking about Mr. Bean today. Much as I respect him, but it's not about Mr. Bean today. All right, so yes, we're gonna move on, man. So I'm excited about today's episode. I'm excited about them all always, but hip hop, man, we love this thing. And we want to talk about something that just adds to it and makes it exciting. So we want to talk about sampling today, man. The science of sampling. We're going to have a little discussion around it and throw out some of our favorites, man. So this should be a good one. I know, Slack, me and you spoke a couple of times about the Prime concert that we was at in North London. Wow, it feels like, bro, it might have been 10 years ago, you know. Would it have been that? Yeah, I think it was like 2015, so nearly 10 years ago. Yeah. When obviously Royce just gave Primo a little time and he was just doing what he was doing and just blending and bringing tracks in, and we was hearing samples and all of that. And I love hearing that, man. You know what I mean? So sometimes when you don't even know where a sample comes from, and then you hear the track and you think, oh, that's from. Love that, man. So yeah, we just thought we'd chop up a bit about that today, man. So man, this came from you, Slack. This is one of the things you mentioned when we was talking about episodes and topics and what we can talk about. One of the things we were speaking about off air was just sampling and remaking, and how there's a difference between sampling something, using it, giving it fresh life, or just remaking and just it being like refried beans kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Do you want to talk a little bit about that first? Your thoughts on the difference between sampling and remaking?
Yeah, so there's a massive thing at the minute for me with regard to the laziness, I guess, of a lot of today's producers or beat makers. I just keep seeing a load of remade songs up and down the timeline, and people acting like it's the first time they ever heard this song, and I'm just like, Busta Rhymes' last album, everyone knows how much I despise that album. But one of my main reasons of contention with that album is he's remade about 3 songs on that album. Like he did about 3. He remade Get Throwed. He remade the EP31 joint.
Bro, I didn't even listen to it all the way through.
Yeah, the one that Jay-Z sampled, man. The name just escapes me in a minute. It's My Thing. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's My Thing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Ain't No Nigga. Yeah.
So he did, and then he did another, like, and I'm just like, you're Busta Rhymes. You don't need to be doing all these remakes, bro. You don't. It also makes me question, because you had Timbaland, you had Pharrell and some other producer as executive producers for your album, and this is the best that they could give you. Like, this is disgusting. So then it led to me thinking, there is a difference between a remake and a sample. So I love the whole thing about a producer finding, like, we know Alchemist will he went to Russia and he did a whole project with just Russian music, or Dilla would sample something as small as a drum kick from Rapper's Delight, and he'll make that a whole drum sequence. Timbaland will sample a baby giggling, or just something completely obscure, and put that into, like, that's real creativity there, man. So that's a producer taking a drum loop, taking a sample, taking a melody, and mixing it all up and making something completely new from it. What they're currently serving to us is, you've heard this before, hear it again, but not done nearly as well as it was done before.
Yeah.
So if I was to remake something, I'd have to make sure that it was 100% either on par or way better than what came before. Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly.
What's the point remaking something if it's not going to be better than what came before, right? So you ain't going to tell me that Busta Rhymes and Coi Leray song was better than Jay-Z and Foxy Brown, was better than Eric and Parrish. Like, it doesn't. So what's the point in remaking it? So I think a lot of it lends to the era that we're in, because we're in the streaming era. People don't have to go out and buy albums anymore. So it's lazy, innit? It's like, it's recognizable. So we're gonna soon be, probably even this year, maybe next year, we're gonna start hearing Ja Rule song remakes, because people are gonna be reminiscing about their summer 20 years ago.
Of course, yeah.
Still talk about them whack songs as if they was good. Like, we're getting to that point, because that's all I'm seeing, bro. It's just remake. Sampling, I've got much respect for you to hear a little piece. Like, I've seen producers go through a record and they're literally taking the needle off, putting it, but like taking off, hearing that one thing where they're like, yeah, I can do something with this, and then making a whole, like, that's actually brilliant. So I've got massive respect for the science of sampling, and even something in a movie or a sound from like a car or something, and it just triggers that creativity in your brain, man. That's amazing to me, and I love seeing the outcome of it. So seeing what we're being fed now, it's kind of sums up where we're at with hip hop, bro. You know what I mean? So the whole of last year, right away, like, we struggled to get through the end of year wrap up, because there's just not much coming through that feels creative to me. And I think that's a lot to do with it, where hip hop is too young for us to already be sampling stuff from 10 years ago, just to try and trigger that nostalgia in someone to say that's good. It's not good, because it's lazy, in my opinion. If it's done well, I'm all for it. But if you can tell me one that you think of recently that's come out that you think was done well, I'm all ears. But I genuinely can't think of one. A remake has been dope, man.
I heard one for the first time, not for the first time, but I mean, I hadn't heard the song before. I was watching The Choice Is Yours, the Black Sheep, the Dress documentary, which is really good. If you haven't watched that, you or anyone else watching, it's worth a visit, man. But towards the end of it, she's gone from me. Her name's gone from me, but she done a song, and she there's a female rapper now, and she sampled the track The Choice Is Yours, and it worked. Do you know what I mean? What she was rapping about, or the track in itself, I didn't particularly like, or her as an MC, but I think it worked how she done it. And if it's done right, like you said, because you're getting, but that song's like 30 years old, you know what I'm saying? So it's different. You're getting that nostalgia. She wouldn't even have been born probably when that song was out. Do you know what I mean? So you're getting that nostalgia from the track that you love. This is how I look at a track being sampled. Yeah, it should tick two boxes. One, people that loved it from before are going to appreciate this sample, and it should be another good track in a different way. So you're going to have the people that have heard it before, and they're like, yeah, this is from such and such. I love that. But then you must also have people that's probably never ever heard the original track before, but still like the track for what it is.
Right.
If you're solely sampling it because it was a hot track back then, and you're thinking, yeah, this will work, and you're not putting the effort into your track to making your track equally as good and to be able to stand in its own right, then you failed in that mission. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's where a lot of people kind of forget with sampling. They're just thinking, oh, I'll take, and this is where the laziness comes in. I'll take this because it was good, but they don't do nothing real fresh with it or exciting.
It's the
Even
same.
if I hadn't heard it sampled from, exactly. So it's laziness. Even if I hadn't heard the original, I need to still be able to say your track's good in itself. You know what I mean? I thought about, you made a comment, you said like in hip hop and everything, like, you know, it's not old enough to have to be leaning on sort of remakes and samples like that. When you said that, Elzai's Elmatic came to mind. Like, we know that that's a good project. We know that, yeah. But how did you feel when you first sort of saw that and heard of that? Like, what was your thoughts on that? I particularly don't like the idea. I think the album was decent and he pulled it off, but I don't particularly like the idea. How did you feel about that? Or what did you think about that?
Good question. I still am very torn about it, if I'm honest. I love the music, but I don't like the fact that he remade the album. I think he's too good of an MC to do that. But at the same time, I don't think many other MCs could have done what he did.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So for you to follow what is arguably the greatest hip hop album, depending on who you speak to even have the balls to do that is crazy in itself. To do what he did and use Will Sessions to do all of the live instrumentation again is genius, because you haven't just like replayed the beats and just rapped different over them. You've literally remade every song from scratch, so it feels fresh. So I've always been very torn about the album, because if Illmatic didn't exist, then, you know, it'll be one of the greatest albums of all time. But Illmatic does exist, and I understand he was paying homage to Nas, and I get that. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't even think it classes as an album. I just class it as like a mixtape.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So in that sense, like mixtapes, a lot of mixtapes is like artists just taking someone's beat and rapping over it. So if you class it as a mixtape, I'll say, yeah, that's one of the dopest mixtapes of all time. To call it an album, I wouldn't call it an album, because a lot of the rhyme schemes, although he's saying different stuff, a lot of the schemes are similar to what Nas did on the original. So I get it. Like you listen to Illmatic, you love it, so you think, I want to attempt what it would sound like if I did it, kind of thing, which is cool as a mixtape. I ain't got no problem with that. Yeah,
I mean, it's true. Okay, so if it's done, like you said, I'm still kind of feeling a bit like now, still like, but it's done well. If you've done that kind of thing, you didn't pull it off, then you'd be like, bro, why'd you even touch it? Yeah, but that's for me. I feel like things should just have their own. I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite because I'm about to get into. I love things being sampled, but I don't know. I think within the same genre, sometimes I think you should just do new, fresh things. So, like, even when MCs drop part 2s of a successful album, I'm always like, oh, just do another album. You see what I'm saying? So, like, and not many people pull it off as well, because they're always going to do part 2s of albums that are probably classics. You know what I'm saying? Or revered highly. So it's almost like, in myself, if I dropped a classic, I just want that to be there as its own classic. I don't even want to do, because we talk about the sin of the crime of comparison. Like, if you're gonna call something a part 2, immediately people are gonna compare. Straight away. And I don't know many that.
I dropped a tweet today about just to gauge reaction. So I put up a tweet about The Dogfather, for instance, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I just said, hear me out. I didn't say good, bad, indifferent, I like it, I hate it, nothing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see how people react to the album, right? So just as I expected, and the reason I did it was I knew that people would be like, oh yeah, that album's dope. I don't know one person that will call that album dope. Like, not one person. If I went into my group chats right now and I asked all my boys, what do you think of this album? Every single one of them will tell me that the album's bullshit. Like, every one of them.
Yeah,
I know 100%. That off rip, they'll all tell me that. But Twitter is an interesting place, because you're always going to find someone who loves something that was universally clowned when it came out. So I thought,
Mhm.
let me just see where the temperature's at. But like you just said, you're following a classic, so you don't deem it as you're not just looking at it as its own singular body of work.
Yeah.
You're gonna instantly compare it to Doggy Style because Doggy Style was so big. So although it's not a part two or Doggy Style 2 or whatever, you're still gonna go against what he released previously to that
Just
album
dropped,
now.
yeah.
And it was nowhere near.
Mhm.
So if Doggy Style never existed, it still wouldn't be a good album, and he wouldn't have been
No,
what now.
that's the thing.
That's the right. So it's just interesting to see how people are digesting music now to how they digested music when it came out. So that's why I do stuff like that, because it gives me an opportunity. Like, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Like, some people like it, some people absolutely hate it. We have reasons for not liking stuff like that. And then it makes me, is it down to a generational thing? Like, I was raised to not be copying everyone. So if I'm wearing this tracksuit and I walk down the street and I see 5 different people wearing that tracksuit, I promise you will not see me in that tracksuit again. I've done it. My kids will tell you. I've walked out in by some new crepe. Yeah. These are fire. I've seen a few people in them. Them shits will go in the box and they won't see concrete ever again.
Yeah.
It's just how I am. Like, I don't like to have something that everybody else has got. It's just not my thing. And it feels like a lot of the music now, everyone's trying to conform to this kind of sound or
100%.
whatever that they think everybody wants. So I think, like, you can log onto a website now and it'll be like Timberland style beats.
Right beats, yeah, exactly.
Bro, like, tell me one producer back in the day who would come up and be like, "Oh, my sound is the same as Primo's." Like, you get slapped out of the building. Like,
it's so
you
true.
Can't sound like
that is
Primo.
so true.
You can't
That
sound like
so
anybody crazy, or you can't sound like Ray, or you can't sound like this.
So
but now people are proud to say my shit sounds like this dude.
Yeah,
my shit sounds like Metro Boomin. Like, make your own sound.
That's what made people like Timberland so like amazing at the time, because like you said before, you ain't hear no baby crying on no song.
No one can ever sound like Prime Timbo. Nobody can ever do what that man did again. Like, what he did with me, like some of the artists he worked with, they weren't great like rappers, like Magoo, R.I.P. Even I wouldn't say Missy was like up there.
No, but she's creative. Yeah.
She made good music, but would I call her a dope rapper? Nah, I wouldn't. I won't put her up against like a Nas, a Jay, a Lauren, or a Rod Digger, or whoever. She wouldn't be up there for me. But I like her music a lot, you know what I mean? So but I like it because there was no one doing anything like what she did, and still to this day, like, you could throw in her albums from back in 97, I think her debut came out. Bro, there's nothing that sounds like Super Duper Flights to this day. And many have tried. You know what I mean? The Real World, that album still sounds like the future to this day. And again, there was no beat on there where you could be like, oh, Timbo's biting Eric Sermon, or Timbo's biting Marley Marl, or Timbo's biting RZA. Do you know what I mean? It was all him. RZA was all him. Primo was all him. And this whole thing about co-producers as well. So I remember this Kanye tune. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was All Day or something. And the producer credits was like pages long. There was like 35 producers on this one tune.
Insane.
And then I'm like, when I listen to the beat, I'm like, what did all of you lot do? Because I could make this on my own. Like, it was very basic, it was dry, it was rubbish. So I'm like, it took 30 of you and not one of you was like, this is whack. Like, if there's going to be that amount of you on the track, I would expect that shit to be like Jesus made it, like that kind of level. But yeah, we're just in a very strange time where it's okay to like be out there biting people's shit. Like, there's no checking anymore. There's no like, don't sound like me. I don't want you to sound like me. Like, everyone's cool, just sounding like everyone else. So I think people have just got lazy. There was a great tweet yesterday. I can't remember the dude's name, but something hipster. If you watch this, you know who you are. But he said, I've said this previously, but it's great to hear him because he's an actual artist. So it's great to see his perspective on it. And he said, artists don't want to give you their best anymore because all you're going to do is listen to it once, take the piss out of it,
Of course,
move on to the next
of
one.
course.
So why should they put in all this effort, blood, sweat, tears, try to make the very best music that they can, only for you to be like, that's whack, and then just move on to the next one. So I think the appreciation for music has then allowed producers to be like, why am I going to sit here all this time going through all these vinyls, listening to all these samples, try to get this shit clapping, try to get the best drums I can, try to get my bass levels up, only for you to be like, that shit's whack. You know what I mean? So I kind of get it, but for me personally, I couldn't be happy with copying something that someone else has done.
No.
That's just me.
No. And I think I've said it a million times on the podcast, man. I think it's almost like the gift and the curse of the age we live in, the streaming and everything, because so many times you think about the albums we used to buy, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You spend whatever now, and you got access to billions of songs. Like, you buy maybe a handful of CDs a month before records or whatever. And you're spending time with them. So yes, I ain't taking it away. It's a great thing. I love it that we can just have access to anything. I love it. But at the same time, because of that, that's where that mentality comes from sometimes. Because it's like, I heard you said that people will listen and say, it's whack, and that's it. I'm gonna hit you with the flip. People will listen and say, this is a classic. Ask them 2 weeks later if they're still listening to it. They're not. They're not, but you and I know when we felt something back in the day, even amongst all the other stuff that was dropping, that would always find its way back into rotation somehow.
Facts.
You spend time with that. What album was I listening to the other day? It was Royal Flush, yeah, Ghetto Millionaire. I actually think that's a dope album, but it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not a 5 mic classic or anything like that. Right.
A lot of people say that it is. I disagree, but yeah,
it's not no 5 mic classic, and I'm actually someone who enjoyed it. You get me? It's just a dope album, and like I said the other day, there's nothing wrong with an album just being good. Like, there's nothing wrong with 3.5 mics. You know, like it's good. You get me?
Right.
But I was listening to that the other day, and I haven't listened to that for years, like years. The point I'm making is that it wasn't even an album that I had in heavy rotation. I just enjoyed it. Even my quote unquote least favorite tracks on there, I found myself still remembering. I'm like, I'm surprised I even remember that. You get me? So it's like we used to spend time with music. Yeah. If you like something, I mean, you spend time with it, enjoy it. But like, because so much can come out now so quickly at the drop of a hat, you'll listen, and before you know it, you've got 5 other albums that are dropping on Friday. So even if you do like something, you have to consciously make an effort to stick with that, because you're like, nah, you know what? I want to spend time with this. I don't care how many albums dropping on Friday. I'm enjoying this. I want to listen to it for a while. Do you know what I mean? Right. And so yeah, like you said, I kind of understand the mentality. I would probably feel like that right now.
But shouldn't that make you want to stand out more? If you know that everybody's making the same kind of music, everybody's got the same sound, everyone's saying the same shit, wouldn't that make you want to be the one that stands out? Like, I can't understand wanting to fall in line with what everybody else is doing.
100%.
If you know that the market is oversaturated with bullshit. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. If you're doing the same thing, that if I just decided to start rapping tomorrow and I sounded exactly like Kano or I sounded exactly like Getz, who's going to listen to me? Because they've already heard that shit.
They've got the original. Yeah.
If I came out and I was like, P's and Q's, everyone's going to be like, bro, like Kano did this 20 years ago. Yeah. So I just can't understand that mentality of, it's all right for me to just get lost in the washing machine of all these people that have already done this before. I can't get my head around it, but I understand now that we are not just in a different time, but the music is looked at differently. Like, when we was younger, hip hop was niche. It's not niche now. It's the pop music.
Exactly that.
So
exactly that.
And in pop music, that's basically what people do, isn't it? They just take your shit and
make it popular. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, but I agree, and that's when I said about I'd be the same. I mean, what I meant by that was I'd almost feel nervous to put so much effort into something now, because I feel like people would give it that little thing and then move on to the next thing. It's almost like, I think the key is to find your core. But it's like,
you're just gonna say that,
Yeah, and the rock with them, because like we're talking about pop music, bro. What I never thought I would log on to the internet and hear people dissing Mos Def because he called Drake a pop artist. It's like he said nothing wrong. Like Drake is
Yeah,
a
but
pop artist, and that's why.
look at what you're dealing with, bro. You're
No,
not
of
dealing
course,
with
it's
you're
where
not
we are.
dealing
But
with
that's why when people like express their dislike for Drake and hip hop heads, and they'll be like, I've even had a discussion with you. Drake don't bother me, bro. The reason Drake don't bother me is because I don't. If I want hip hop, or I'm thinking about lyricism, or I'm thinking about
you don't
rubber,
think about him.
I don't think about Drake. So for
Mm.
what Drake does, I ain't got no problem with what he does. He's a pop artist, so I expect him to make that kind of stuff. More power
Right,
to him. He's doing cool.
right.
Don't come in no circle with Mos Def and be trying to compare Drake to Mos Def and be trying to diss Mos Def for calling Drake a pop artist. It's like that's what he is. You see what I'm saying? It's like that's what he is. But this is where we are. You see what I'm saying? Hip hop has just become this thing now where it's like it's just one big melting pot of everything that's popular music. And that's all it is. And like Mos Def said, if you can walk into Target or whatever shop and hear Drake, that should be the end of the discussion. He's
When
pop.
he said it was shopping music, I was dying laughing because I was like, I've been searching for the perfect way to describe that man's music, and I've used all kinds of derogatory terms, but to call it shopping music is absolutely perfect. So from now
It's
on,
shopping and wedding
I'll be
music.
referring to that
Yeah.
man's bro. It doesn't invoke any emotion in me at all. If I hear a Drake song, it doesn't stir anything in me. And when I think about his biggest songs, like think about it. We're talking about what was that song? Shit. So you used to call me on my cell phone or something.
Oh,
Like,
something bling.
are we
Bling.
really putting that? Are we really putting that up against Mos Def?
This is what I mean.
What's the other song? Like a lot of his songs are.
Hotline bling. Hotline bling. That's it.
There you go. What was the other one? Something about we're going home.
Hold on. Just hold on. We're going home. Something. Yeah.
Bro, so
Yeah.
what are we really saying here? Like, I know this is slightly going off topic, but that guy doesn't make the kind of music that most makes. Like, he will never make a song that makes you go, rah, damn, okay. He will never make a Mathematics or a Umi Says, or and I'm not Mos Def's biggest fan. Like, let's get that out there right now.
Right.
I'm not the big. Like, a lot of people that I hear saying he's one of the greatest. Like, I firmly disagree with that because apart from his debut album and the album with Black Star, the rest of his projects are very hit or miss. Like, The New Danger was horrible. I excitedly bought that album, and when I got home, I was so like, what is this? Like, it's terrible. So I'm not gonna sit here and like pretend that I'm most biggest fan and shit like that, because I'm not. Like, I saw him do a live show like recently, and I was like, what is this? Like, he ruined the whole experience for us. So, but do I agree with him? Yes, because what that dude makes is pop music, and that shouldn't be an issue. But it comes back to the audience who are digesting this stuff. They never came up listening to hip hop. So Benny the Butcher, I watched the interview with him yesterday, and I haven't liked a lot of the stuff that he's been saying recently, because it's almost like he's trying to show the fans that got him to where he is now. You boom back niggas and this and that, and I'm like, bro, you wouldn't be doing that with Hit Boy if we weren't supporting your shit from when you was nothing. Like, let's be real. Like, he was no 100%. One knew about you. Everyone was West Side and Conway. You came out of nowhere. Everyone started rocking with you because you was making that street music. Now you're calling them nerds and this and that and the other. So I wasn't rocking with nothing with that dude. I'm still not, to be honest. But after hearing this interview, what he said made sense, because he was contradicting himself and saying, I'm going to have the best album on Def Jam. And then he tried to backtrack and say, no, I never said that. And he was saying, oh, only certain people can critique music. So I think Charlamagne asked him, was like, so who do you think can critique your music? So I was expecting him to just say DJs and other rappers. But then I'm like, all right, cool. So if that's the case, don't ever watch a football game. Don't ever watch a baseball game. Don't ever watch nothing and say, oh, this guy's rubbish. Don't ever watch a boxing fight and say, this guy's crap. Because if you can't critique something as a fan, then don't put it out. If you don't like anyone talking about your shit, only keep it to yourself. Only send it to a DJ. Only send it to other rappers. Don't let us hear it then, because why would you be upset with us critiquing something that you put out? As a fan, we can critique
Who's it
whatever the
for?
hell we want. It's simple.
Yeah. Who's it for?
But
I mean, you
he
can say it for
clarified.
yourself, but
Yeah, but he clarified and said fans can critique it, but what he's saying is actual fans of hip hop who understand
Right.
hip hop, who
Right.
listen to hip hop,
Right.
who grew up in hip hop,
Right.
and not these dickheads online who just say stuff to get a rise out of people
For
because they haven't got any
attention
friends in life. They don't get any attention anywhere else but online. So they just say stuff just to get a reaction or whatever. So I get it. And yes, a lot of the music now, coming back to the sampling thing, is they're taking these obvious samples because they know that the audience that's going to be listening to this stuff, it's not me, it's not you, it's not our friendship groups. It's kids who would never usually listen to a rap album, who would then come online and talk shit about it. And you're like, how can you talk shit about Mos? Like, do you know who Mos Def actually is? Were you around in 99? You probably weren't even born in 99.
That's what I mean.
But now you're saying that he's this and that, he's whack. So you can't, you're in no position to compare the two because you've only heard Drake's side of the argument. You haven't heard Mos Def's side of the argument. And if you do, it's retrospectively because Drake's stuff is coming out as you're growing up. You've never listened to Mos until now to quickly go back, skip through a couple tunes and go, oh, he's whack.
And that's the thing. That's what's happening.
Listening to the album, you're just skipping through.
They weren't. They weren't
don't like that song. Don't like that song. Ah, he's whack. You probably haven't even finished the album, but now you're going to go online and say this guy's whack when you just skipped through 5 of his tracks. So this is the era that we're in. So in that sense, I get it. In the business sense, I get it because some people aren't clearing samples, bro. It's that simple. Like if I was playing a tune, Stevie Wonder, let's say for instance, and I'm like, yo, that sounds dope, and I mixed it in nice with this drum loop and I had it nice. I was like, yo, Stevie, can you and he just puts the phone down on me like, bro, you ain't cursing and talking about bitches and shooting up the block over my stuff. Like, that's not gonna happen. That's another thing. Like, there's a lot of albums that are sitting on the shelf because they weren't cleared. So
exactly, I
think a lot of producers have been like, I'm not gonna go through that. I'm either gonna replay stuff. If you look at Griselda when they brought in Beat Butcher, a lot of his stuff is played from the like he's a sound engineer, so he'll engineer a whole sound that's not based on samples. So I think a lot of producers now are trying to create new sounds. That's what Swiss Beats was famous for when he started. So I think that's probably the road that a lot of them are going down because it's very expensive to sample music. And oftentimes they'll just say no, depending on who the artist is or if they have a relationship with that person or whatever. They'll just be like, nah, I don't want you sampling my music, sorry. So that's an issue in itself. So yeah, I mean, there's explanations as to why we are where we are with it, but it don't mean I have to like it.
No, 100%, because it is a beautiful thing, and I don't want people to say, oh, you know, you can get that whole sample snitching thing, and it's not that, but like when you're taking certain things and making, and that's the point of what we're talking about today. If you're making something so fresh, standalone, great in itself, off of something else and sampling something and making it into something else, man, that's nothing wrong with that, man. That's being creative. You see what I'm saying? And like I said about the Primo show, when you're like, oh, that's where that comes from. And the sample, I mean, we're going to look at some examples, and these are obviously musical examples, but it can be anything. It can be like Havoc speaking about making shook ones with the oven thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can take anything and just like, it's just being creative, man. Sampling something and working with it and making it sound good. But I think it's an important part of hip hop, man. I need to shout out.
Hip hop was based on. Like, it's literally based on something. Yeah,
definitely, man. But yeah, I need to shout out my wifey on this bit. She done a playlist that's like hours long, bro. And she's just got tracks on there where like the original song runs into.
Oh yeah. I do that with my kids.
Love it, bro. Yeah, love it. Yeah, and it's just like, even for me, I'm listening to it and I'm like, bro, man, I didn't even realize that. I didn't even know that at the time. I ain't heard that song before. Did I mean? And it's really good, man. But yeah, so we thought we'd throw out some examples, man, for the last half of the show, and just some of our favorite samples And we know we can have, you call me Mr. Honorable Mention, I better really be careful today, bro. But we know we can have hundreds, man. But we thought we'd throw out a few today. We'll see how time goes. And yeah, and obviously you guys watching, listening, what have you, man, throw out your favorites as well. For me, it's the excitement of hearing something, like the where it came from and the original song that was used. Especially when it's nothing to do with hip hop. Do you know what I mean? It might be the most random song, and that's become like one of my favorite hip hop songs.
Do you know what I love? I love when I've been listening to a song for years and I've got no idea where this sample or melody has come. Right. I remember one time I was watching a TV show with my nan. Like, this was years ago. I can't even remember what the TV show was, but the theme song started, and I was like, I stood up and went, "Oh shit!" Like, that's great,
that, bro.
That's very
excited I get.
So I was like, yo, how have they taken that? And I can't even remember what it was now. It's pissing me off. It will come to me. But yeah, that feeling right there, where you'd be listening to something for so long, no idea where the theme song, and it was some obscure, like old school American kind of TV show. But as soon as it started, I was like, boom, okay, I married it up. Like, that feeling is amazing.
It is, man. When you hear it, I'm trying to think. I don't know why, bro. It could be one of hundreds, but the first one that came to my mind.
It'll come to me.
Okay. Let me wait. If no, I'll say it after. Let me kick us off, bro. We'll just do a track each, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got this is some of them are going to be obviously painfully obvious. This is a very obvious one. Like, anyone who knows me knows my favorite artist of all time, Stevie Wonder, right? And that's all genres, man. Like, of all time, like, he's the GOAT to me. And if I had to say my favorite song, it would be "Ribbon in the Sky." So you know where I'm going. For me, one of the first ones I need to mention is Jamal, "Keep It Real," with the Eric.
That was on mine, yeah.
Say that again.
That was on mine too.
There you go. That sample, bro. Eric Sermon on that, off the Last Chance No Breaks album, 95. When I heard that, it was just like, and it's because we all know it's just that opening key, and he just brings that in and just loops that. It's bro, it's like
and
a thing of beauty,
he put
man.
the bass line on it, he's put the drums on it. Yeah, just everything.
I love it, man. To this day, I'll still just let that. I mean, I actually don't mind that album at all. I think that it's a decent album. Yeah, definitely, man. And I like the track. But when that single dropped, man, I was just playing that and playing it, man. And then Eric Sermon recently dropped an instrumental album, some of his instrumental tracks, and that's on it. And I just had that on repeat, man. I love it. So had to mention that first, man. What you got?
I'll start with there's a few, man, but I'll start with Cameron 357, because I used to love the TV show Magnum,
yeah.
I used to just love I'm into my cars big time, as everyone who knows me knows, but the Ferrari was my shit when I was a kid. So when I heard 357 and they had sampled the theme from the TV show, and they had done it perfectly as well. Yeah. That was dope.
And bro, I think we need to realize the what's just happened. That's Cameron you're talking about.
Skip past it.
I was gonna say, you mentioned the thing, but yeah. I had to throw that out. But yeah, no, that's a sick sample, man. I love that. Still love that track to this day, man. I'm going to go with another obvious one. Sorry, but I have to. These are some of my favorite ones. Lonnie Liston Smith, "A Garden of Peace," sampled for Jay-Z's "Dead Presidents" with Ski on that. That's another one, bro. Love how that works, man. I don't even want to say I was learning, because that's giving it more juice than it sort of deserves. So I was going to say I was learning the piano, but I did at one time just start messing around with some keys, and so I learned a couple of hip hop like tracks like "Still DRE," and that Jay-Z one was one of the first ones. Just learning those bits there. I love it, man. And that's probably to this day one of my favorite Jay-Z songs of all time, man. I love it. And it's mainly that sample. It just works brilliantly, man. So yeah, Lonnie Liston Smith. Love that sample.
Cool. My second choice is probably going to be another TV show sample, and I think they actually had to take this track off the newer pressings of the album because of the sample. But Pharaoh Monch, Simon Says, the Godzilla theme tune. So from the time that you hear that, oh shit! Like, yeah, crazy.
Love that. And you know, when that come on as well, Pandemonium, man, that was a hard over. Definitely, man. Good shout. I'm gonna go with Busta Rhymes.
Don't say what I was gonna say, man. Please. That was literally my next one.
For real, yeah. Fire It Up, Night Rider.
Oh no, I was gonna go for this one, but that's fine, yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool, cool. That's good then. So yeah, that I'll be honest, man, you know what I mean? Like I didn't even know. Like I've never really looked into who produced it before. When I was getting this list together.
Busta Rhymes did it.
Yeah, and I actually didn't know that, man. So I love learning something new. Like I said, when I was getting this list together, I wanted to like double check who produced it as well. Yeah, I didn't even know Busta produced that, man. So or if I didn't, it left my mind. But yeah, that's love that. When I heard that,
sample, man.
Everyone knows that Night Rider beat so hard.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
Someone like Busta had to come.
Do you prefer the Busta version or do you prefer the Timbaland version?
Busta's. Yeah, I'd say Busta's because that's more what.
I'm just talking the beat though, not the rapping, because you got Magoo rapping over the Timbaland.
Yeah.
But just the beats alone, because I think Timbaland flipped that crazy.
No, he killed it. He did,
especially with the drums as well. I was like, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, I felt Busta's one is more true to the actual sample though. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. The actual, and I think that's what it is because the Night Rider beat's so sick anyway. I used to love that when I was young. Right. So to hear Busta rapping over that, it felt more like he's just rapping over the Night Rider beat. But both are hard though. But I think if I had to pick one, I'd have to take the Busta's one. But yeah, they're both hard.
That's totally fair. The wickedest thing is that wasn't on the original version of that When Did It Start? It's some dead version. It's got some next sample in there. And I was like,
you compare them, bro.
Yeah. And I'll never forget when I first heard it, I was coming home from college, I think. My cousin's ringing me. I'm like, what? He was like, bro, have you heard this new Busta Rhymes? I was like, new Busta Rhymes? Nah. I got his album. He's like, nah. Bro, he's going over
on there.
Night Rider beat. I was like, all right, he recorded it off the box. So as soon as I got in his yard, I played it. And I lost my mind, bro. When he's like talking to his car and shit, bro, just amazing joint. Love it.
Yeah, man, that needs an episode in itself, man. When you buy albums and certain tracks are not on there, man, that's mad.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like proper, man. That's too many times for me. Too many times.
Rhymes probably gonna be my next pick as well, actually. But I was gonna go for the where he took where DJ Scratch took the Psycho sample. How do you like? I still don't understand how he did that. I still don't understand how he took that and made it into what he split it up, the drums, everything was perfect. I don't know how he did it. It's insane genius. But the wickedest part, bro, I never forget. I listened to an interview that he did some years ago, and he was saying him and Busta cooked out something even crazier, but they couldn't get it cleared. And he wouldn't say. He said, "I'm not going to tell you what we sampled, but trust me, it's crazier than Give Me Some More." And I was like, "Oh shit!" But we're never going to find out what it is because they never got cleared.
Man, and if they, that would have been hard though.
If they top that, imagine how hard that song must be for him to say that.
Yeah, that song was mad. Wow. Yeah, that's a very good shout. I didn't have that one down. Another obvious one, man. I'm gonna go with The Barge, Stay With Me, for Biggie's One More Chance. That's another one that weren't on the album. Because that dropped, trying to go back now. One More Chance dropped 95, the album dropped 94. So most of our obviously weren't on the album anyway. But still, when you're running through the album and listening to the album, sometimes I'm actually a big fan of that One More Chance.
I love the original one, to be honest with you. The original one is filth.
I'm actually a big fan of that one. But yeah, that sample, that the bar sample, that's where those pianos are. That works perfectly, man. That's definitely another one of my favorite ones, man. So yeah, I've got to give that one a shot.
Yeah, 100% go with that one. My next pick is gonna be this one is so blatantly obvious, but it's going out there anyway. But you can't ever go wrong with an Isley sample, can you? And
Bro, that's mad. Let me hear what
I
you're gonna
think
say.
Between the Sheets has been sampled probably more than any other song. But there's two. So one is Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm.
Today Was a Good Day. But then you also have Dilla.
Mm.
Won't Do. So they flipped it in completely different ways.
Yeah.
So I think DJ Pooh produced the Ice Cube.
He did, yeah.
Day. So there's nothing I really need to say. Like that's literally the perfect rap song. The sample's perfect. The song to go with it is perfect. Perfect. Yeah. But then the Dilla version is so obscure. It's not until the end of the song where he's got like the little inflections of Ron Isley saying, "Bro, just genius, man. Just genius."
Definitely.
So yeah, that's my next one.
Good job. I'm gonna go Isley's as well. I had that on the list as well, but I'm gonna go with another Isley's one I got down. And this is, I love this one. This is For the Love of You, Master Ace, INC Ride.
Yeah,
love that. Man. Yeah, just love that, man. There's so many. I think there's a good 4 Izzy in my list actually, but like you said, Izzy's a sample loads, and you feel like it's like a cheat code. It don't really go wrong. But I mean, we've heard this sample so many times, but that INC Ride, I had that on repeat, man. Like for a long time, man. Like it was just playing. I love that track so much, man. I didn't even have the CD or the album at the time. I just had the video off of MTV.
Right, because they always keep always
on. I used to just rewind that track all the time, man. Love it. It just feels so good.
The album, though, man. That album was really good. The Ink Incorporated or whatever, Sitting on Chrome.
Yeah,
that was
Sitting on Chrome. Yeah,
love that album.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool.
Big shout.
All right, my next one is going to be Ahmad, and the song is Back in the Day. And the sample by Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah. I
literally think that is like the perfect, again, another sample that you can't really go wrong, man. You can't go wrong with that song. But Ahmad did a great job, man. And having that song as like an ode to his childhood was just perfect.
Classic song, no doubt, man. I'm not coming off topic for a minute, but everyone always mentions that song when they talk about him. You know what song I actually love from him? The one off the Jason's Limit soundtrack. That's How It Is. You know that song? It's off the Jason's Limit soundtrack.
Doesn't ring a bell, you know?
Yeah, spin that when we come off of this. I love that track, man. I actually prefer it to Back in the Day, but
really?
Yeah, That's How It Is. I love that track off the Jason's Limit soundtrack.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna have to go.
I feel like I'm hitting all the obviouses, man, but I'm just staying true to what it is, and I'm just saying my favourites, man. But anyway, Michael McDonald, I keep forgetting. Warren B. Nate Dogg. Have me regulate. Love that, man.
That went with
so
the obvious.
I know, but it's one of those five mic tracks in it, man. It's like it's a perfect track, man. Do you know what I mean?
Literally is a perfect track.
Don't matter, it's perfect. No matter how many times or how old, that song will live forever. So first time hearing any of them. So man, gotta mention that. Massive shout. Love the way the sample was used as well, actually.
Warren G absolutely killed that, to be honest.
Slaughtered it, man. And needs his props, man. That's your dope producer.
Yeah. All right, my next one will be, I'd say Redman, Can't Wait. So he sampled Bob James, I think it's Caribbean Nights, and he sampled the Mary Jane Girls. So the bass line is Bob James, and then like I don't know how he took something. I think I said this recently on Twitter. You took something that is so innocent and breezy, and then you turn it into that grimy, disgusting. But it's just brilliant. Like you can take something that's so different. And that's why we love the sample, man. That's exactly why.
Definitely, man. No, That was red all over them terms though, man. Just dark, innit, man? But
Yeah, for real.
Okay. Sting, Shape of My Heart, for Nas, The Message.
Oh, thank
Produced
God
by,
you didn't say what I thought you was gonna say, man. I was almost gonna close this shit.
What do you think I was gonna say?
I thought he was gonna say Sting, Every Breath I Take. Or Every Breath You Take.
No, you're good, bro. You're safe. Don't worry about that. You're safe. Now, Sting, Shape of My Heart, Nas, The Message, produced by Trackmasters. Love it. One of my favorite songs off It Was Written Anyway. And I heard that it was the Message before I had heard of the Sting song. Shout out to the film Leon. What year was that, man? I can't remember.
Leon was like 93.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
Love that film though. And I was actually watching that at the end. The Sting song comes on, and I was like, "Bruh, that's the Nas track." Do you know what I mean? And that's when I realized that the sample, like what you said when you're sitting down with family and heard that, that's what happened with me. It might even have come out before. I can't remember because I hadn't. Yeah, whatever. But I'd heard the Nas track before I'd seen the film Leon. Right. So when the film Leon finished and that came on, I was like, right, that's a Nas track. And then I was like, right, I love that sample. I got shout out Craig David as well, you know. They actually did a song called The Rise and Fall.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's sick as well.
The Cape Trinada album.
No, that's on the Sicker Than Your Average album.
Was it?
The one yeah, his second album after
I'm getting it confused with that. I can't remember what that song was he did with Cape Trinada. But he used a very obvious sample on that song as well. But I know the one you're talking about, The Rise and Fall, yeah. But I was never big on Craig David, to be honest with you.
I think the first album's a super classic, bro. Like undeniable classic for me. That first album.
I've never listened to it. I couldn't stand that dude.
Did you not? Bro, I thought it was hard. I thought it was hard. You couldn't avoid it.
That was corny as fuck. So I just.
You ain't got no soft side to you, bro. What's wrong with you, man?
Nah, man. That wasn't me, bro. Like everyone else around me was like, Craig. That was like, nah, man. That's
what year was that?
On it. Huh?
So I would have been about 20. So same. I guess that 20. So I guess it was the songs, the radio singles. 7 Days I weren't like big on, but them changs like Fill Me In and them ones I thought were hard.
I like Fill Me In, but yeah, once 7 Days came out, that was me, bro. I was like, get the fuck out of my face.
Funny. But yeah, that one he sampled that as well. He killed it on that Sicker Than Your Average.
I'll definitely take the Nas version over that Rise and Fall shit.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. We're on the same page there. Don't worry. What you got?
I'd say Nas for me too. But this one samples one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs of all time.
There you go.
Nas Professor sampled Human Nature.
Yeah.
For Us. Ain't Hard to Tell. That was actually the first. I can't ever remember if my first hearing of Nas was Ain't Hard to Tell or Halftime. It was one of those two. And I'm pretty sure I heard Ain't Hard to Tell first. And then I heard Halftime. I'm pretty sure.
Might have been the same for me.
Because I loved that. Because the sample alone was it for me. And then just perfection to me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, hard. Love that. Very good sample that works. Anything with that kind of sample is going to work, man. I'm trying to find that. I feel like I've got bare obvious ones, man.
Give us something obscure.
A bit different. Okay. Free the Pain, I Get High. Styles P, Good Times. Yeah. Produced by Swiss. Yeah, I love that.
What?
Yeah, Free the Pain. Huh?
Did Swiss produce that song?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think that was
I Get High.
Yeah.
Let me check.
I don't think that was Swiss, bro.
Forgive me for false advertising if I'm wrong.
I'll be shocked as hell if that was really him, but I don't think it was.
It don't sound like a Swiss beat. There's no doubt about that. Let's have a look.
Because I don't think he did much production on that album, The Gangster and the Gentleman.
Let's have a look quickly. Okay, Good Times. Yeah, it says Swiss. Yeah, it says he did.
Okay.
Maybe he just done something and then got the credit for it. I don't know, but It don't sound like a Swizz beat. No doubt.
Nah, I really didn't think that was him. But if it is,
Yeah,
props to him.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, love that sample.
Man,
Love how that's you. Hard chat.
there's so many that I can go through, man. I don't even know where to go for the next one. I'll probably say I really love the can it all be so simple?
Yeah.
Wu-Tang. Just the way that RZA, I still don't know how the hell he did that. I still don't know how he incorporated that into that song. But my mum always used to listen to that song.
Yeah.
So yeah, hearing that was, and even my mum actually liked the song, which was rare for her.
For real, yeah. That's nice.
Like one of my records, man. But yeah, she really loved that song. So just me picturing my mum dancing around to that song makes it special.
That's it,
Yeah,
I've
got to go for that one.
Yeah, no, good choice. Okay, I'm gonna go with William Bell. I Forgot to Be Your Lover, and the sample was used by the Alchemist on Dilated People's Worst Comes to Worst. Love that one, and we know Thing done a version of it as well. What's his name? Oh, that singer, Jaheim. But yeah, Dilated People's, man, Worst Comes to Worst. Hard track. We know that, man. And that sample's just brilliant.
Big tune.
Yeah.
Okay, my last one, I would probably say, I've got to make this one count. I'm going to say Big Punisher. I Ain't a Player, the original version.
Yeah, I had that down as well. Yeah,
You're my darling. Yeah.
So
the way that beat was incorporated was amazing. So, and the way he rides that beat as well, you could tell that's one of them tunes that his parents must have played around the yard with it. Because my mom and dad used to play that song all the time. So when I heard the intro, "You're my darling," and I was like, "Oh shit, what's the producer gonna do?"
What's he gonna?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes
how he's gonna come in.
Yeah, you don't know which way he's gonna go. So sometimes they might play a little snippet of the beat, and you're expecting like yes, and then they ruin it with terrible drums or like when I heard the sample, they was like, "Oh, Drake sampled Lauryn Hill," and I was like, this could perk my interest.
Yeah.
But when I heard what the producer did with it, and I was like, "This is lazy, man. This is terrible." But to hear how well that song was sampled, one of my favorite joints as well, man. So yeah, that's my last pick.
Okay, I got 5 left, right? So I'm just gonna pick one. I'm not even gonna do one of them. I know. I was getting excited, bro. I just kept on. I was getting excited, but I'm gonna pick this one. Some of them. Okay, so we had Isley Brothers, Between the Sheets, Big Papa, obvious one. Isaac Hayes, The Look of Love, Jay-Z, Can I Live? Love that. Got it on production. Dynasty, Adventures in the Land of Music, Camp Lo, Lucchini, Ski, Bobby Bland, Ain't No Love, Jay-Z, Heart of the City, love that. Yeah. But the one I'm gonna go with is, I love this, man, is Shaka Khan, Through the Fire. You know where I'm going. Kanye West, Through the Wire. Yeah.
All right, I got one more.
Love that. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know what he sampled, but I heard it was Chinese Water Torture.
Okay.
DJ Premier, J. Rue the Damager, Come Clean.
Okay, yeah.
I don't
Chinese
know.
Water Torture.
Yeah, so the dun dun dun. It sounds like at the beginning of a video. It's the tap.
Sounds like tap dripping. Yeah.
Right. So Chinese Water Torture is when they tie a towel around your head and they basically drown you with the water. So I think I read it somewhere that he had sampled that. I was like, yo, how has he taken Chinese Water Torture and made it into this? So although it's not like a sample, is in like your traditional.
No, yeah, but it's still a sample.
That is one of the greatest. I just can't even begin to imagine of how he has taken that and made it into what he made it. It's just incredible to me.
Man.
So yeah,
man. But listen, we could sit here for another hour doing this, man.
Easy.
Just love
and
it.
that was just off the top of my head. Like if I sat down and wrote out a load of stuff, then I could be here all day. So I thought it's probably best for me to not do that because then I'll struggle to pick which ones will be my favorite. So which ones just came to me, they're the ones that you know off top. So yeah, we could have been here all day, man. Easy.
Yeah, of course. I had to write mine down for the opposite reason. If I didn't, I'd be all here, all like, oh, 1, 2, 3. Excited, I thought I better write this down, bro. Calm down. And even that 15 was like 20 at first, but yeah, man. So the science of sampling, it's a beautiful thing if it's done right. And like I said, we've had this whole discussion about sample snitching. That is not what this is. We know what that is. That's when people take a sample, might not have particular permission, let's say, certain things.
Don't even exist anymore.
Exactly.
Producers don't even care now. They're just like, yeah, this is what I sampled, but there's no left, man. Like that's what I mean. Producers will protect their sample their life. Like you could never.
But they don't want to be duplicated.
Yeah, exactly. Or they like find it yourself.
Yeah.
So that's why, like Dilla, you'd have to dig to find what he sampled because he switched it so much. You're just not gonna be able to tell what he. And that's the whole idea. Like I'm gonna switch this. I'm gonna flip it so crazy that you're not gonna know what it is. But now they're just like, oh yeah, I took this from that, and then I sped it up, and then I did this, and then I put it down to this RPM. Come on, man.
But
yeah, we're in a different era, man. It's, you know what I mean? We just got to roll with it. It's not
definitely,
ideal.
Man. But see, Pete Rock was talking and saying how he was hanging with Dilla and he was making beats, and he was like, he just couldn't believe like the end product from what he got. Like you would never think that this beat was made from that sample. Do you know what I mean? And it's so like I said, a lot of the ones I chose are Ribbon in the Sky. But sometimes those obvious ones are just as dope as the hidden ones.
Because you're like, whoa! So it makes you think, you recognize it immediately. So it makes you think, where are they going to take this? You know what I mean? And that's exactly the whole excitement element, man. So yeah, man. So everyone, feel free to add your favorite samples below if we didn't mention it. If you've made it this far into the podcast, man. Respect and love as always for checking us out. We will be back with our regularly scheduled programming now. And that's the turn of the year. We've had our little end of year break and all that stuff. So once again, thank you so much for getting us up to 500 subscribers. I'd say that we'll aim to get to 1,000 or whatever, but we ain't really checking for all that kind of stuff, man. Just if you rock with us, man, then we're here. You know what I mean? So thank you so much as always. So from me, your boy Slack in the building, signing off. And my great co-host to my left.
Hey, man, nothing but love. Appreciate you rocking with us again. We're here, 2024. My Type of Hype, the podcast that celebrates hip-hop and not just the hype. So until next time, stay blessed, keep it hype. Peace.
See you next week, guys. Peace.